Morning, everyone. Morning, Mr. Skippers. We'll start up at 9, but there's a reason I've got this up here. I'm starting to get a bit worried about it. To be honest. Did he? On this one? Okay, yeah, Petra's here. I think he did well. We're talking about morning, Petra. I think, yeah, talking about what you call it, so straddle trade on this pound CPI, yeah. But that's what I'm talking about. Maybe she went half past, but despite the kick up the backside from the pound on that, it did shoot up, but then it seemed to be coming off again. I'm getting not the other one. We can modify the other one, but this one I'm getting a little bit worried about. Tailwind like that should have maintained happy movement, but it didn't. So yeah. Hi, Gail. Hope your internet works okay today. You had a couple of problems with it yesterday. Hope you're okay with it. Okay, half past, we can start. Yeah, I've got up for a reason this morning. I'm just getting a little bit worried about it. We've got a trade idea came out, I think it was yesterday, and it helped some help from the CPI, but it doesn't seem to be maintained. So just be aware of it. I'm not saying you asked me, should I get out of it? I can never make that call. I might suggest modifying stop or whatever, because it can't say get out of it and it shoots up. You're going to be very happy with me. So I'm just saying, be aware of it. I think if it starts breaking down here, I'll be a little bit nervous to be in the thing. It's not getting any sustained movement on the upside of the shorter term. You get my point. Okay. And this is a lower and lower. I'm sure. I think the pound against the Canadian, I think it might be, yeah, might be. How do I put this? It might not be as strong as I'd like to see. So just be aware of it. It's right about break even. Some guys might have taken a bit of profit. It did shoot up a bit this morning, but yeah, what else can I say? Be careful of this one. Okay. All right. I can't really say any more than that. Just be a little bit aware. It seems to be holding on the 50-hour moving average. I hope it might get a bit of a bounce. But yeah, I'm not sure we're going to get much follow through on this. Okay, I think I made my case there. Right, GBP AUD was another one we did yesterday. We'll go through the trade ideas in a moment because most of them will be in now. Just sent out about an hour ago. Had a nice bounce. We are in profit. When do we begin? 88 AUD. Hang on, where is that? GBP AUD 88.15. So clearly it's a nice enough profit. Some guys might have taken it, but if you didn't take it, suggest you get your stop loss up to break even. If you go to 88.15, like the signal said, maybe 88.20. So put it 1.8820. It'll cover your costs. You won't make any money on it, at least you're protected. And hopefully get a bit of a bounce. I'm more favouring the weakness of the AUD than the Canadian at the moment. So yeah, I think this could continue. Just getting in the way a little bit. Okay, I hope you're with me on that. Any questions, please say so. So, GBP CAD, be aware of it. It might come through. Don't say get out of it. We watch it a bit. This one, I think, is a chance of more upside, but you can protect yourself because the profit is 30 pips away from entry. Should be more than that, actually, about 35 away, which is all good. Okay, now that's why I laugh at myself a little bit. AUD, CAD. Some guys went what I expect, maybe a bit of a bounce at 89.89. Clearly that didn't occur. Obed, are you there, Obed? You went to look for a bit of downside. So far, so good. So, you know, it's good in a way to get, good in a way to see how that happens. So anybody can rightly be wrong in hindsight or whatever. But yeah, we had two opposing trades on that one. I thought there might be a bit of a bounce, and that clearly didn't materialize. And it's come off a bit. So well done, Obed and the guys who joined on the sell. You are in a profit. It's only about 20 pips or so. Because remember, you got short on that side. You're getting exiting on that one. So only about 20 odd pips. You can reduce your risk, but getting to entry is a bit close. You certainly reduce your risk. Well done, Obed. That was your idea, if I remember rightly. So it's a game of tennis, Roger and Obed. And at the moment, it's first game, first set to Obed. You just broke my serve there, Obed. Well done. Okay. Right. Okay, we've got a couple of trade ideas out this morning. Euro NZD. We'll start off with that one. This one was a buy at 76.76. Was going up a little bit better earlier on. It's just, as it does, goes up and down. And I mentioned many times, just bear that in mind. It's a bit of a rush when you see it going in your favor, and then it annoys when it comes back a bit. The ups and downs, I'm never getting rid of that. People getting in and getting out as we speak. But anyway, it seems to be okay at the moment, slightly in profit. Just hope it continues, clearly, obviously. The other one's a sell, NZDCHF. That was at 55.48. Was down, it's popped back up again to break even. So we'll see how they pan out. Give it a bit of time. I know when you get in, the nerves start rattling, the adrenaline goes up, the heart beats quicker, and you want some sort of Formula One movement action. It doesn't always occur that way. Give it a bit of time. It could be there a day or two, who knows. But anyway, it's about break even, and the other one's slightly ahead, but it's a bit quiet. So modify your stop on the GBP AUD and keep an eye on the GBP CAD. Okay. Remember, Anna, you just joined us, mentioned the GBP CAD for you. It's not getting as much follow through as I'd have liked. So I just say be a little bit wary. It seems to be holding that, so you might get a bit more upside. But just be a little bit careful of it. Okay, make sure you've got your stops in place and you're protected. Okay, right. So we've got two out this morning. One's slightly ahead of the game. One's about break even, and this one is around about break even. The GBP AUD is clearly upside. and it's going back up again. Look at the watch list there. So make sure you got your stop if you enter that trade modified to protect. Okay, so then maybe 1.8820. Therefore, you'll have covered your costs. I'm assuming you got in the signal price. A better price, what a pleasure. A lot worse price, you shouldn't be chasing it. But if you did, well, then maybe don't get your stop too close. Okay. When I do the recommendation, obviously I go by signal price. You get a better one, fair enough. Hope we're all clear on that. Okay. Anything else? AUD NZD. I wasn't too keen, but some guys liked it. It was a sell at 0988. Let's see how that's doing. Yeah, that's not doing too bad. I wasn't keen. I stood aside on that one. But yeah, so far in a bit of profit there. It's a bit close to get your stop loss to break even, but at least it's going all right. Just be a little bit careful on the hourly. There's a bit of support there. It seems to be holding, but anyway, it's going the right way. Okay, just going into today, 4 o'clock. Our good friend Powell, he's the chairman of the US Federal Reserve, the central bank of the United States. And when he speaks, just be aware. Not be aware, be wary as well as aware. He's speaking at 4 o'clock today, so probably more of the same, reiterating his hawkish stance on inflation. But anything can happen to the dollar, so be a little bit careful of any dollar positions you're in, and be rather careful of entering any dollar positions because of that reason. I could be a bit of dollar strength coming out of it, but who knows? But just be aware, when he speaks, you can get some jumping around. Okay, right. Any new guys here? Don't forget, this is the forum where we interact. Some guys there you've seen already posted on the chat line there. You can always unmute if you want to verbalize. It's very important. If you're not sure of something, you say so, and then we can clarify. I do have a bad habit of speaking a little bit on the quick side. So if it's say, what's he on about? Or it's a bit too quick or whatever, please just say, can you refresh me on that one? Go and look at it, etc. Okay. A lot of the trade ideas we do get from the trading room because it's like a forum where we all work together with different opinions and different ideas. We get a half a dozen or so saying, oh, we like whatever that particular symbol is to buy or sell it. Often we send it out. So yeah, this is where we work together. It's not a class like Forex. It's where we work together and we learn from each other. Okay, I hope we're all clear on that. So it's very important. If you're not sure, you clarify. You ask so I can clarify. Okay, I hope we're all good on that one. What I want to do, just take a couple of moments here. I talk about the economic calendar. That's what happens occasionally. You get very important announcements. So you need to be aware of them. So I'm just going to copy and paste it for you. Give me a moment. Maybe 1 or 2, I'm pretty sure, don't have it. So no harm, doesn't take long. That's economic calendar. And we talk a lot about the dollar index. So I'm going to put that up for you as well. If you don't have it, obviously save it and then keep an eye on it. Keep it minimized when your laptop, when you're trading, just to remember, do I go into something like the Swiss franc about 10 before an interest rate decision might come back and bite. But talking about Swiss franc tomorrow, it's expected another 0.25% increase in the interest rate. Coming up, I think about 9:10 tomorrow. Which time's come from? Let's have a look. Interest rate decision. +9 tomorrow. Swiss franc. Just bear that in mind. So expecting another 0.25% increase. Right, so we're aware of that. We're aware of Jerome Powell speaking later on this afternoon. So just be aware of it. Be careful of any dollar positions of entering, and if you're already in them, they jump out. But just be aware of it. Okay. Rog, how does one get info quickly online with the bank comes? Well, the info comes out and the markets move as he speaks. I think it might have it on investing.com. I'm not sure. But certainly they would have it on Bloomberg. If you don't have it on the TV, maybe go for the radio, so radio Bloomberg as well. And when he speaks, it'll be on Bloomberg TV or radio. think someone on invest.com or whatever. But don't try and get cute on it. Don't start, certainly not a straddle trade. It's not an announcement. It's testifying. In other words, he's giving his take on what he's going to do going forward and the economy, etc. And that could jump around a bit. So you can listen to it if you want, be aware of it, but don't try and trade on that, because you can pop up and it says something else and it pops down. It can be a bit jumping around, basically. Okay, well, yeah. Well, you're out of GBP AUD. Okay, that's fair enough. I would have held on to that and modified the stop, but fair enough. If you're out, you're out. Okay. US dollar CAD I wasn't keen on, so I'll leave that one. That was a trading, guys, something like that. I wasn't keen. Mind you, I wasn't that keen on the AUD CAD. I didn't go for it, by the way. I just think I think it could be a bounce. But some guys went for it and sell, and they're doing okay so far. That's what I mentioned this morning on opening 9:30. I'm getting a little bit nervous at GBP CAD. Is it doing anything at the moment? Yeah, I'm very nervous. It's not getting much follow through. I think we could get downside. Be careful with this one. If you're in profit, modify, or maybe you take it. I don't know. But I am getting nervous with this one. But GBP AUD, that's fine. Let that run. Modify your stop. If you want to take profit, you can. You're in 30 on. 15 and 30 is 45. It's nearly 40 pips profit, which is okay. But this one, as I said, well, half a dozen times this morning, I am nervous. This one. Yeah. I hear you on that one. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're in this one, make sure your stop protected or whatever. Be careful. Could come off. I'm saying that. CAD is reasonably strong anyway, but it had the help of a fundamental, but it didn't really get going much, you see. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised this comes off a bit more. Don't say you should sell it or whatever if you're not in, but if you're in long, be careful. Okay, right, I mentioned the economic. Oh yes, my name and number. Anybody hasn't got it, I'll put it on now, just a second. Only, by the way, if you've got a properly funded account, not demos, I can assist you. Remember, if you've got 150 US dollars in your dollar account or 2.5 grand in your rand account, just let me know. I'll WhatsApp the number in a minute, and I'll add you to my QT WhatsApp group for daily updates and etc. etc. Could be of benefit to you. Down here now. If it takes more details, I will call you on the what you call it, a recorded line. It's another number. That's actually a computer one. I just speak to the computer, and that's recorded. I'll call you back if it needs more details. Otherwise, stick with WhatsApp. Usually covers it. Okay, hope we're all good with that. I just want to take a couple of seconds just to explain again. Some get confused with the guy who sells the product. Used to call account manager. They don't call now something else, whatever. But those people can assist on opening accounts, but they can't assist on advice. Okay, when it comes to trading advice, financial advisory intermediary services, Action South Africa means if you can offer advice, you've got to be basically qualified to do it. Whether you get my point. So if it's trading advice, I can assist. If it's opening other accounts or anything like that, your account manager who sold the product will be able to assist. And as I say, if you Stock Market College is a separate company, and you need any details or any queries on that, go to the live chat and go to Stock Market College on there, and they'll assist. Any problem with deposit withdrawals, they're also there. FICA, technical support, any problems there, they'll help. But trading support, where I come in, is purely on trading advice and assistance. Just so we're all clarified on that. So in case you get questions on that, confusing the two. Okay. We don't work against each other, we work together. Good morning, Mother. Okay, all right. So keep your fingers crossed on this one. GBP AUD is going up a bit more, so hold on to that one. Modify your stop to protect. NZD CHF, a quick gold. What's happening there? 1930, I thought was an entry. I'm a little bit nervous of gold, even though it's come back quite a bit, because, as I say, if Powell does come quite hawkish, it could strengthen the dollar and maybe more downside on gold, or the other way around, of course. So just be a bit wary, even though it looks tempting to go back in again. I'll put the chart up for you. As you see, it's hovering a little bit. Probably wait for 4 o'clock. So just be a little bit careful, just because it's pulled back quite a bit, to jump in again. And a little bit of technical damage on the 100 there as well. So yeah, it's pulled back a bit, but I would be a little bit wary of jumping in. It's very aggressive to do just that. But having said that, if you had to, I think I'm looking more upside than down, but anything could happen. Is there still time to enter? Chepo, I'm not sure which one you're talking about there. You need to put down the symbol. Remember, don't be forthcoming in your queries, so I've got the full knowledge. Otherwise, I might answer the question correctly, but it's not the question you asked. So you'll be working on sort of misinformation. So yeah, just got to tell me time to enter what. Just put that down on the chat line, and I'll assist you there. The finals, they come out the same day every month. Well, not necessarily, because it's like 31 days in a month. It's not exactly 4 weeks a month. So like the non-farms will be the first Friday. That could be the first, second, fifth, or whatever. You get the idea. Not necessarily. The only ones that comes out regularly is something like the weekly, that's why it's called weekly, any jobless claims, things like that, to come up every Thursday in the US. Okay. But anyway, whatever it is, you've got the economic calendar, so you can always revert back to it just to check. Keep it handy, because you might forget. Just check. I'm about to go into euro dollar, and then coming out the dollar or the euro just now or whatever, just so you're aware. You've got 2 and 3 star. The 2 star can affect, but 3 stars is a little bit more important. And you get 3 stars and 3 stars. You get the idea. I mean, it'd be a 3 star on the non-farms or CPI. And then you have the building permits yesterday, which is also 3 star, but not as powerful. So that comes with a bit of practice. But bottom line is, you tend to trade and you can always ask. That sort of answer your question. Okay, so yeah, Chepo, time to enter what? Okay, no, it's no problem. We want you to interact. That's fine. I just want to make sure I'm on the right page. That's all. Is it time to enter? If you talk about gold, I'd sit in the sidelines, even though it could be a bit of upside after retracement, but or you talk about another one. I just need to know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, so please, even just starting, no problem. I have no problem with that. As long as you clear the question. But if you're not, I'll ask anyway. So it's not... Okay. Okay, good stuff. We'll just look at a quick Euro NZD for the moment. Just quickly check there, Euro NZD. That was a buy, 76.76. It's going nicely now. Good stuff. And the NZD CHF was a sell, slightly in profit. That's good. So that's not too bad overall. Okay, right. Any questions? I think some guys might not sure what I'm talking about when I talk about moving averages. The blue one there, if you don't know, is a 50, and this one is the brown one, is a 200. Both simple. I very strongly suggest you have them because they're internationally used and very powerful and assisted indicators. So they will help you. The black one's 101 and the magenta one is the 10-day. The gold, don't worry about it right now. When the ones who know about it, we'll discuss later if you queried on it. Otherwise, if you're just starting off, rather just have those four on, which is the 10, which is the magenta, the 50, the 100 and the 200, and save it once you've got it on there to your templates and save the template. Don't forget, once it's saved, put your name in there, press save, obviously. And then if you do lose your charts, they're handy. And the beauty, you can save different templates if you like. Got quite a few there. Very important. If you want any information on the particular instrument, you left click on the one of choice, then you right click, go to specification, and there's the information all handy. Okay. Be aware, if those are starting, be very much aware, you attend a couple of classes or whatever, that you know when we talk about you're in leverage instruments, what it means, because, well, you've got to know that. I mean, it's like, don't know what speed you're driving the car, it's dangerous. So you need to know what leverage is, and you need to know that you are in leverage instruments, etc. Margin, what it means. Be careful that you've got free margin. If you don't, you'll get margin calls. So don't get your position size too large, because if you don't have any free margin, that particular trade will be closed, whether you like it or not. You've got to have free margin in your account. They call that a margin call. So if you want to work it out, go to the live chat, go to tech support and get the position size calculator up and running on your laptop, and then you'll know what your risk is. And then you must be disciplined and abide by that, like budgeting. Very important. Because it's, say, I go on about it ad nauseum to people who are sick of me talking about it, but they're still going in with the wrong volumes, and it can come back and bite. Okay, can get lucky, sure, but can come back and bite. That's why I do strongly mention it. Okay, any questions on trading itself or any other things I've been talking about? Any particular trade ideas or strategies or anything to do with charting or whatever you'd like to sort of discuss or mention or go into? Anything like just go, oh, NASDAQ. NASDAQ. I had actually been overexposed. I don't say you should do it, but I overexposed a bit in the NASDAQ, but fairly confident it's come off. Don't you do it. That's do what you like with your own money, but don't always do what I do. And it came off quite nicely. I've closed a large part of that position, and I've left a little bit to run. It's in a profit. I modified the stop loss, so I took it about 15, 150, something like that. Where do I think it's going to go from here? I expect some downside. I know you're going to say, well, why didn't make that stay? Look at that enormous momentum upwards. I think it's reaching exhaustion. I think there's a lot of economic issues out there, major debt I mentioned, that I think there could be a reasonable pullback. Do I think in the future it'll go higher? Yes, I do. Do I think tech stocks are here to stay? Yes, I do. Technology runs all. I get all that, but I think it's due for a pullback. Having said that, Mandela, be very careful buy or sell at the moment, whichever way you feel, because as I say, if you get a strongly hawkish stance tonight from Powell, it could have a bit of a pullback. And I think it's waiting for a bit of a pullback. You see my point? It's since March, that's what, about 3 months ago, it's gone up by 3,600, just over 3,600 pips. And I'm not sure the economic climate out there is going to sustain further upside. I'm expecting a bit of a pullback, but it's nervous. You can see the sideways motions at the moment. So I wouldn't be joining it either way at the moment. But if I had to be, and I'd rather be short and long at the moment, but best is not go in. Okay, especially with Powell speak tonight. If he is hawkish, which I think he might be, could get a bit of a pullback. Okay, and that's the 4 hour, looks very sideways. Does that answer your question, or was I waffling a bit there? You got it, okay. Oh yeah, something else. Somebody today, actually he's on, I think he's on here now, Shamani or whatever, asked about taking a bit of trouble to learn the stuff. I want to mention that somebody made there. Be fair to yourself. How many of you guys knew how to get a driving license, drive a car after one lesson, fly an aircraft after one lesson? So be fair to yourself. It's a new skill. There's a lot involved with it. Give yourself a break and say it will take you to pick up. I don't care how clever you are. So just don't get too hard on yourself. You're starting, that's where you're learning. Clearly, hopefully you get better as the time goes by, but don't expect to play a game like golf like a professional where you just bloody well started. It's unfair to yourself. So just bear that in mind. Okay. The beauty is it's not as difficult as golf or being a doctor, a dentist, or a lawyer, or whatever. As some guys will know. I mean, if you attend regularly and get involved in it, you should get the majority of the basics and understanding it within the first 3-4 weeks. Then just to sort of just finessing it as you go down the line. Okay, hope that's all clear. I do get a lot of that, guys saying, I'm really battling. If I just started, think, hang on, be fair on yourself. Or give yourself a kick if you do some daft. You'll do that, fair enough. For us, sometimes it's just, well, be fair on yourself. Pat yourself on the back as well. Okay, right. Any questions? Actually, talk about indices, maybe the same with Dow. And it's a good chance of 34,000 being broken to the downside. Would I suggest you trade it now? We're taking a big risk with pound tonight, but I think the angle to me is downside, and I think he's going to remain his hawkish stance, which could get a bit of a strengthening of the dollar, which might actually have some downside, which jump around a bit. Because you got a micro, having said that, Mundo and company, if you have got a micro, you can take a very wide stop if you want to be aggressive. On this one, you have to be seriously wide. I'd have it right up here, actually. It's about 500 points, but you can do it on the micro if you want. But I'm expecting downside there for the record. See if it comes back and bites me tomorrow. Okay, anyone got any brilliant trade ideas? Let's drop the standard. Anyone got some reasonable trade ideas? A little less pressure. Anyone to discuss? You know, some guys say I came for strategies. You never talk about them. Well, if you ask, I'll interact. Got to interact. An upside down face. Not quite sure you about that, Murray. Are you still smarting because Dirt made a profit? You didn't. Yeah, and this, no, yeah, that could be it. Yeah. Okay, your thought about CHF-JPY. I want to buy it, but I'm not sure I want to buy it now. Definitely want to buy it because, well, clearly the uptrend is there. But I think I missed it last time. It got it 150 and the trading on 153 on the trading signal, hit the TP, what a pleasure. And then it came back a bit. This was a few days ago, back to around about this level. It was this round about here, wasn't it? I think it was further back. And it pulled back a reasonable amount, and then, well, we missed it. Right, joining it now. I'm not too sure about that. We've got interest rate, likely interest rate increase tomorrow, which should have a bit of a positive effect on the Swiss franc. I'm just worried about this JPY. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making too much of a paranoia on it. Just think it's a little bit undervalued. So half good ideas. Okay. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah. Where was I? Yeah. Yeah. I want to buy it, but I'm not sure to chase it. And that's not just because I'm a chicken. Look at it. You're heading up there, came back, hit the ceiling again, came back, hit the ceiling, came back. So if you're looking at that as a TP, 70 pips, where you're going to put your stop down here, you're risking 140 odd to make 70. Oh, clearly that's not a wise investment, that. So yeah, I like it. Don't short it, buy the pullbacks if we can get them. But I'm just a little worried about the Japanese yen. I think it's due to strengthen somewhere down the line. Let's look at the CAD. Yeah. I think this could pull back. I think this is a more likely pullback than the CHF JPY. I think I'll both pull back, but if I had to short, I'd rather short this one than the CHF JPY. Yeah. Neither at the moment. Just saying, okay. All good. But yeah, if you want to take a short on the NAS or the micro, sort of the down micros, just make sure you don't overexpose. Make sure it is quite aggressive. There's a possibility if you do a wide stop. But make sure you've got enough free margin and you know it's highly aggressive. Any doubt, stay out, you know. I was setting it out to everybody. I'm just saying to the trading guys who know the score want to take a highly aggressive short. Well, we'll put the RR up. It's highly aggressive. Another one was CAD CHF. Been in for bloody, I don't know how long. Oh, we've been getting this one a heck of a long time ago. It's really giving us some jip. CAD CHF, where is it? Here we are. 9th of June, that's what, 12 days ago. 67.45. So it's still not looking pretty. I'm stuck in this damn thing. It's hadn't hit my stop, but I'm stuck in it. Exactly, been for bloody ever. You know that expression, I've been in there since the Dead Sea first reported sick. And it's still not coming right, but we shall see. That's just put up here. Yeah, still neutral, maybe a bit of hope on it. Maybe, hang on, maybe the interest rate decision might help us tomorrow by strengthening the Swiss franc. It might at last get a bit of profit. It's frustrating, but we learn, you know, the market does it. Yeah, I've been in this thing now for nearly 2 bloody weeks now. But maybe we'll get a bit of help tomorrow. If we do, take the bloody thing, hopefully. Okay, don't forget, you can partly close your position, guys. Don't forget, if you've got one micro, clearly you can't, it's a minimum. But if you've got more than one micro and you want to bank some of it, you don't have to close the entire trade, you can bank some of it. Because let's say you made a mistake, you went in with 6 micros, you meant to go in with 4, you can still close 2 micros and leave the other 4 running. Don't forget that. Hope you all know how to do that. Very important to know how to operate that platform. You don't have to go into brilliant detail unless you're some sort of tech fundy, which I ain't, but at least know that.
The pound is doing his thing, is weakening by the minute.
Yeah, I'm very aware of that pound. So this one in particular, oh God, it's really.
I got stopped out in all the pound trades.
GBP's come right off it, was it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's come right off it. You should have actually had a bit of a profit on that if you modified it properly. It has come off. I don't quite know why that is. But yeah, maybe getting some weakness going ahead of the pound because it's the whole economy is not that pretty. Maybe that's the reason. But you should have actually got out of this one if you modified accordingly. Maybe didn't make much on it, but anyway, the pound CAD, I have to say, has been worrying me. I think I'm actually thinking I might have some downside on this one. Yeah. I think a lot of guys might be out. Some guys might have already taken profit higher up or whatever. But if this is coming back, then the pound CAD definitely will, because the Canadian is slightly stronger currency. Yeah, pity. So I say always trade with a stop loss and prepare to modify, especially getting a few doubts. Okay. Trade without a stop loss, if you're frightened to take a loss, could end up in tears. Just remember that. Yeah, it's disappointing finally ahead. How would one close that again? That's one might leave the other one. You can do that. I'll show you now. Hang on. Don't look at my red trades, by the way. I'm that cat CHM is not pretty. Okay. Right. How many have we got here? I've got in gold. Don't you go into gold. I've decided to do it, but I'm not, that's yesterday. But I'm not sure the wisdom of it, but I'm in. Okay, right. Right, you want to close. Here you've got 5 micros, and you decide you want to bank a couple. See what it says volume there? You double click. And then, is this right? Yeah, that's right. Double click on it. And then depends how much you want to close. If you've got 0.5, you want to close, well, whatever you want to close. If I want to close, let's say half of that, 0.25. I will put 0.25, the volume I want to bank, remember? And then I click on the close button. If I did that, that would obviously change to 0.25 and half that would go into my bank. Everyone understood that, I take it? Yeah, I know, but I wasn't recommending it because Powell's speaking. But it's your money, my money, I can do what I like with it. But I can't, when you've got responsibility for other people's money, you don't want to be saying do that and you can backfire. And that would have been too aggressive. But yeah, anyway, I'm in it. So there we are. If it goes up a bit more, I might actually modify the stop to break even just in case Powell stuffs the thing up tonight. Okay, do it again. I'll do another one. I'll do the NAS. Talk about the NAS. I've got 1 mini. Remember, you got a standard lot, a mini, and a micro. 100 micros, 1 standard, 10 micros, 1 mini. So I've got 10 micros there, okay? Double click on it, on the volume part. I want to close whatever I like. Let's say I want to close half of it. I put 0.05 in there, you with me? And then I click on the close button. Half will be banked and the other half. Because I'm going to be honest, I overexposed on this one. So whatever, it's a bit stupid anyway, but I did overexpose on purpose. I knew what I was doing on it, and I went in with 0.5 on it, which is very, very high. Don't make a habit of doing that, guys. It worked out. I banked 4 of them, and I made a reasonable profit. Quite a good one, I might say, but don't make a habit of it. Hey? I shouldn't really tell you that's bad habits. But anyway, going back to that, you put in what you want to close the volume, and then you close it. So what you do, simple as that, go to one you want to partially close. So even in a loss, you're getting sick of it. You want to maybe free up some margin, even in a loss. You can do that. I got 0.12. I could go and say I'm going to close 0.06 of it. That obviously will be reduced to minus 400. I'll take a 400 odd rand loss, and the position size will change from 1.2, so 0.12 to 0.16. Any questions on that, Sam? You got it? Please, if you haven't, please, I will repeat, it's very important. Anyone not got that? It's very important. Please don't be shy. I beg of you. If you're not sure, I'll do it again. Might be holding up finally and the rest of them. Sorry, they'll cut you some slack. They'll understand that. PoundCAD not doing well. Repeat. Okay. Go to your trade, open trades. Obviously, select the one you want. Let's pretend it's pretend it's gold. Highlight it. See where volume is. Double click in your volume. Remember, you got 1 micro. You can't partially close it. It's a minimum. Common sense must come in. But if you've got more than 1 micro, you work out. Let's say you got 4 micros. You want to bank 2 of them. You put volume 0.02 and you click on the close button. Then 0.02 will remain and you bank 0.2. It's a loss. You can do it if you want. Sure, of course you can. You can close it right now if you want, or half it. If you're sick and tired, I'm not going to partially. I'm going to hold on to it. Got the stop in place anyway, and maybe the Swiss franc, like I mentioned, will rescue me. But you can certainly do that. And sometimes, even if it's a bit of a loss, you've been stuck in it for 6 weeks, getting fed up. Even if it's a bit stuck down, you want to free up some free margin. you don't have enough money to top it up by making a deposit, you want to free up some margin, you can close part of it, still let the trade run, or half of it, or whatever you want to close, and then you release some margin back into your account to trade with.
Good
Okay.
morning. Roger,
Yeah.
did I understand you correctly? If you're in a loss and you want to halve the loss, then what you close goes back into your account.
Well, the loss does, yeah. That's 800 Rand minus on the CAD CHF, and I got
Yes.
0.12. If I bank 0.06, which is half of it, that will change to 400, and the minus 400 will come off my account. So
Okay.
we won't get rid of your loss. There's no ways around that. So in other words, for 1,000 Rand loss running, I'm a bit worried about it. I'm going to accept I'm going to lose 500, and then, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, common sense. Yeah.
Thanks.
Good stuff. Any questions, guys? All good? All know that now? You got that, Chepo? I don't want to repeat it, no problem at all. You've got, highlight the instrument you're in, whatever it is, highlight. Obviously, it's going to be the NASDAQ, highlight it. It's going to be the gold, highlighted. Okay? Then you go to volume, put in the volume you want to close, and then you press close button. Make sense? Oh, well done. Good stuff. Okay, very well about this cat there. It's not looking pretty. It seems to, on the good news, it seems to be holding on the 50-day moving average. But as I say, it seems to be holding, but it's not pretty. If you want to increase, Sam, of course you can. Just open up another one. So let's say you made a mistake. You went in 0.02 on GBP CHF, and you meant to go in 0.08. Then you just open up a new trade of 0.06. So in other words, simple as that. You meant to go in with 10 and you only went 2 by mistake. Well, then you can open up a new trade with 8. Any questions on that? Okay. So yeah, of course you can increase. Just means you open another trade. Well, that's basically it, or free up margin, etc. Doesn't often happen, I must admit, but you can do. Sure. Any questions on that? Yeah. So I hope you got it clear. You can partially close. If you want to add exposure, you can. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're fairly confident it's a good trade. You can go in, let's say half. Actually, I'll give a better example. Let's come right off, isn't it? Yeah. Let's try something different. Just zoom. Okay, let's just go back to gold for argument's sake. Let's say you wanted to get it in 1925. Make it 1925, but you're not sure it's going to come back there. So you can put a buy limit at 1925 if you want, or you can go in half at market and the other half it pulls back. If it doesn't pull back, at least you're on board. So now there would be 2 trades. So I want to go with, let's say, 10 micros. I can go 5 at market, and then I can put the other 5 on the buy limit. Plenty of ways to just think about it. Yeah? I'll take a very good example. Let's try the NAS. Let's say you think, I'd like to sell this, but I want to set a better price. Say you want to sell it there at 15,120, but you're not sure it's going to get there. So I can afford, let's say, 5 micros. Make it 6 micros, okay? Then you put in, let's say, 3 at market and then a sell limit at the higher price. If it gets there, you're on board with both. If it doesn't get there, you're on board with half, but at least you're on board. If you put the whole lot in at a sell limit at that price, then it doesn't get there, you're not on board. Different way to play around. Hope we're all clear on that. The maths of it, the arithmetic of it is very important. Very good. Talking about GBP CHF. It's come off a bit. It'd be nice to got a bit earlier on. What's it now, you say? Yeah, nice to got in about 9:30 or something right about here. I think that's going to come off. The pound seems to be weakening a bit. I think the Swiss is going to strengthen tomorrow. Might want to have a confirmation breakdown, but I'm expecting downside on this one. Okay. Any questions, guys? Anything you want to go over again or you're not sure of?
When is the interest rates on the Bank of England announcing? Tomorrow, also on Friday.
Just check your economic calendar, just get the stuff out of the way. So tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Got that, guys? Bank of England interest rate decision tomorrow, 1 o'clock.
Thank you, sir.
I'll tell you something, hey, I'm pretty sure that's going to go up. The inflation is hectic there. Just check what they're expecting. 1 o'clock. Yeah, expecting another 0.25%, 25 basis point increase. I think will definitely occur. Might even have a higher one. They don't like to spook the market, but it's possible might have a higher one. But yeah, I'll be absolutely astounded if they don't do anything at all, because as I say, the inflation is a bit hectic. Okay, any questions on partially closing? Why would it close a loss, adding to a position? If you want to increase it, remember it's a new trade, it's a new order. Any questions on that? Any questions on the economic fundamental you mentioned?
Roger, just quickly.
Yeah.
If the interest rates goes up, what happens to our sell trades, our short trades? Will they go the opposite way, or will they go?
If the interest rate increases, it should strengthen the pound. So yeah, at the moment you're buying the pound, so it might do you a favor.
Yeah. So it will strengthen all our short trades against the CHF.
Yeah, that's the theory.
Okay, awesome.
Having said that,
theoretically.
Having said that, remember the Swiss franc is also doing an increase, likely, not saying it will do, expected increase as well. So you might get a jump in the franc, and then after the pound comes out a couple of hours later or so, or 1 o'clock and 9:30, you might get a jump in the pound. Yeah.
Because I want to try and close my 2 trades that I've got on the Euro CHF and the CAD CHF at the minimum loss as possible. So I'm just waiting to see that interest rate goes in the favor and then closing those trades off.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Remember, it's expecting that. When it comes down as expected, you get a bit of jumping around, but it is expected. It's the unknowns that spook people, the market, etc. But as I say, in theory, you should get a strengthening of the pound and a strengthening of the Swiss franc if those 2 interest rates come in. If, however, it is different to that, then you'll see some sharp movement. If the Swiss franc leaves it as, it should weaken it. If the pound doesn't, which I'd be absolutely staggered if they don't, I really will. Possibly in the Swiss franc, but on the pound, I cannot see why they wouldn't do at least a quarter. I'm thinking they might even do more, but we shall see. But if they left it without increasing, goodness knows why, I have no idea why, maybe there's something I don't, then you'll see a radical weaken of the pound because everyone expected a bit of an increase. I don't sure how big and how sustained that increase will be, like we had the CPI just now, because the pound, I think, is a bit top heavy as we speak. So you might get a bit of a jump, but will it be sustained or not is a different story. If they go 0.5%, that's a different ballgame. Well, well, same thing, isn't it? I mean, if it comes out +9, Swiss franc strengthens, and you're on the GBP Swiss, clearly it'll go down because the base counts the pound. And then the pound suddenly increased by half more than expected, then the other will occur and jump back up again. Okay, it's a bit like a seesaw, Jacob and guys. Jacob and I are sitting opposite the seesaw, pretend, and we're both, let's say, 80 kg or 90 kg. And then an hour later, somebody of 30 kg sits on my side. You go up, I go down, the extra weight. Then that guy gets off, we go back to equilibrium. Just think of it like a seesaw up and down, shall I? But remember, if you're in this one, both councils will have their interest rate decisions tomorrow. Just bear that in mind. Hope that makes sense, Jacob and company. Well, yeah, Shepard, it's not simple. Nothing is a no-brainer in this. Getting an idea and learning is one thing, but please don't look for the no-brainer. What happens is perception is very powerful, and you're expecting it. Remember, you're expecting the 0.25%. Yeah, that's exactly, Jacob, yeah. You're expecting a 0.25%. If it's different, you get a major move, major move. If it's expected, you get some move because it's confirmed. And in theory, it should be strengthening. Whether it's sustained or not is the perception by the banks and the institutions of the overall strength of the economy. So let's say it goes up right this moment on the, doesn't matter what GB, AUD, it doesn't really matter. Let's say it does have it as expected right this moment, 0.25%. I would expect a bit of a jump. Whether it will follow through or come back a bit, depends. I think if it does the 0.25%, it will jump, but I think it'll start pulling back afterwards because the overall economy is not that good. If it's higher than expected, you should get quite a decent move upwards. But I don't think that's going to occur. And it's not a buy signal where it's a no-brainer. It worries me because everyone quite naturally, including myself when I started, always looks for the no-brainer. It doesn't occur. You've got to have a counterparty. If it's a no-brainer, you're not going to get the product. No one's going to sell it to you if you know it's going to go up. You can't sell the product if everyone knows it's going to go down. So you've got to have somebody at the other end of the counterparty who thinks the opposite to you, so you can buy or sell. That's vital you get that concept. So not sell, wait, it comes out, it shoots up, I'll buy it. Well, not quite simple as that. And if it was, you wouldn't be able to.
Roger, a question, please. On Forex pairs, your stop loss, how do you determine that? By using it as a 50 pip guideline or a 75 pip or what? Reason been asking, I've done this straddle trade this morning on the GBP USD, and with the announcement, it went up. So I got it in a buy stop. Then I put in 50 pips and I got knocked out as soon as the markets open at 9:15. So I just need to try and get a feeling for, on average, what can I look at for a stop loss? Roger, you're back again. Yeah, Dirk.
Sorry, I was muted. Don't know why. I came back on mute, just noticed that. So, yeah, so I've unmuted. Sorry, guys. Purely the fibers just checked it, still clicking away. I don't know why we lost it, but I put the router on in case it happens again. Just bear with me. But anyway, I'm back. Okay. Right. You're asking a question on something.
Roger,
Yeah.
I was busy asking a question.
Oh, it's not one of those difficult ones. I think I'm losing my internet again. I can't answer it. No, go on.
No, but how much did you hear about the question? What I
didn't hear
said,
anything.
what is on average a good stop loss on Forex instruments? Reason the following. I've done the straddle trade this morning. I got kicked in on a buy stop as soon as the CPI was announced. Then at round about 9:15, it hit my stop loss, and I put my stop loss 50 pips below the entry.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with the 50 pips below, but if you're doing a straddle trade, you can put a stop. I don't bother with it. But well, the straddle trade. That's when you're doing a straddle trade. Oh, here we go. Yeah, back again. Hope that maybe it's the router picking in. Okay, it's a hassle, but maybe hopefully I've got the router on. Hopefully that will sustain. And what's happening with the fiber? Yeah. So yeah, we're talking about a straddle trade here, guys. When Fine mentioned currencies, where you put the stop loss in the currency depends on various factors. And it's not simple as 50 pips, nothing like it. In fact, it could be 70 on one, 90 on another, depending. But he's talking about a straddle trade. I usually put a buy stop, sell stop, and if it fills one, I delete the other, and then I put my stop loss in, etc. afterwards and follow it up just in case. But if you want to put it in anyway, in case of whiplash, yeah, I think 50 pips is cool.
No, Roger, what I've done is I've closed the sell stop, so it wasn't a problem. And after I monitor about for 20 minutes the movement on the trade, I just put in a stop loss 50 pips below my entry point because it wasn't moved anything. And as soon as the Pommies market opened at 9 o'clock, all of a sudden things went haywire and people wake up. So it hit then my stop loss.
Yeah. To be honest, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have, as it went up, I'd had the stop loss a lot closer. I'd gone, never mind your entry, and more think about market price. And as I said, if it starts to fall off and you're not getting a decent follow through on the reasonable inflation differential, which you actually had on the CPI, I personally maybe going forward, bear that in mind. I mean, the pound is a bit high at the moment. The follow through is a bit iffy. Yeah, I wouldn't have done 50 on entry. what I'm trying to say is, let's say you did this one here. Let's go to 15 minutes. It's a bit clearer. Let's say you went in there. How far is that? Well, 88. That's not going to work. I'll get a better example. Let's say you went in there and it shot up maybe a bit more, maybe about 25 pips. Not immediately, maybe over the next 5-10 minutes or something. And I would have probably got my stop loss here because I'm a bit worried about the pound seem to be maintaining. And as it went up, as you can see here in reality, as it started to come off, I wouldn't have held on. Clearly, I didn't take it because I was in the strategy room at the time. But I wouldn't have held on to it. I would have said, right, let's say I did do it, got clipped in here. As it went up, great. As it started coming off, I probably would have taken it because it's not getting the follow through. I would have hanged on and hanged on and hanged on.
Okay, I
That's-
take your point. So that was my problem. I should have take the trade quicker and take the profit with it. All right.
Yeah, it depends on circumstance. Maybe a bit of experience as well, because that's like I mentioned this morning, +9. I worry about the GBP CAD sustaining upward movements. Even after major funding came out, it jumped, but then it didn't seem sustained. It's vulnerable. I think the pound is vulnerable at the moment, and that's the point behind it. But I don't know if Dirk did that on more luck than judgment, but it turned out to correct thing to do. Yeah. Yeah. If it'd been something like the Swiss franc or something like that, start to strengthen quite a bit, I would have kept a sort of a bit of a gap on the stop loss because I would expect more follow through. It's just the pound, as I said, I'm worried about at the moment. I think it's starting to, it might jump again tomorrow on the interest rate decision, but even on the AUD, it's had a major pullback. See what I mean? I think a lot of guys hopefully would have taken the profit by then, but it's had a major pullback. If that's had a pullback, it should happen to the CAD as well, as you can see. I think the pound has reached its heyday. Don't sell it now, guys, but I think we might take a loss on this one and probably out of the AUD one, but keep an eye on it anyway. Yeah, I was quite quick, so you got to be on it. If you get a jump line, you got to be on it. Maybe have your close handy there, have it up there, so it just to click on it to get out. If you worry about it like that. No problem, Shepo. If you want to swap numbers with other people, clearly can do, no problem at all. Just a question there was asked. If in the trade room, are we allowed to leave numbers or asking other people for their numbers? Yeah, it might be embarrassing. I don't want to give it to you. It's any problem. It's like asking a lady for a date. No, I don't want to give them a number. Then I'll go out with you. But yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, sure. I know 1 or 2 get a club with their own going sometimes. You know, 2 or 3 think, hang on. Let's say get our own little club going where we can share ideas. Absolutely.
South African CPI.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Lower than expected.
Really? Let's have a look for a second.
I reckon it's because of the food prices that cooled down slightly.
Might be worse. Here we are. Yeah. Yeah, the CPI 0.2, that's slightly lower. That's all right. And the core CPI is slightly lower as well, about half the expectation. Yeah, that's not bad, eh? That's not so bad.
It's better than Britain.
Sure. We laugh at, but I mean, Britain's got the outside maybe Zimbabwe or whatever, or Syria, I don't know. Highest inflation going, so 10%. And that's come off a bit through interest rates, come down about 8.7%. So yeah, it's higher than ours, yeah. They got a massive welfare state there, which in my opinion, they're battling to afford. All vote catching. Because you remember, the guys who are broke and on the and goodness knows what, usually Labour voters. So they like spending not their money, I might add, bloody taxpayers' money to grab those votes, but it's now come back and bite a bit. Remember the police force, they got a high armaments, defence budget, enormous national health budget, a lot of it's free. The dole, guys, I mean, what's it, 350, 400, whatever it is in this country? You can live on that over there. And they got like free coal for pensioners in winter and sheltered housing for pensioners on top of protecting their money. It's got to come from somewhere, and they've got massive outgoings from that point of view. Don't get me wrong, can't go on the dole and start flying around the world, or going on the Cunard passenger ships, but you can certainly survive, which you can't on the government handouts here. Which is good in a way, it's all fine, but unfortunately, the poorer countries are taking advantage of that by coming across for that reason. It wasn't designed for that. Sweden's a big problem there. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like the CAD's, I think the CAD's, so I hope most of you guys cut your position or took it or did something just higher up. Because I say, the pound looks like it's going to start turning. Interest rate or no interest rate, just bear that in mind. Okay, how's our other trades going? Euro NZD. That's a buy. 24, 34, 36 pips in profit. If you're in the Euro NZD and you got in at the trading signal price of 76.76, you can get your modifier stop to protect. No, I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't bother the Swiss franc. I think, to be honest, I think the Swiss franc is going to strengthen. Whatever. I think it's undervalued. And that should help it along. So you can risk on 10 pips either side, but just be careful. Yeah. It might not have one. Bank of England, Eurozone, and America tend to stick to what's expected. You have to be pretty drastic for not to. The Swiss franc is not the same. It might not have an interest rate increase and it could come back and bite. Mind you, having said that, in a straddle trade, the short might kick in. But if you want to do it, you can. It's your responsibility, as long as you know how and why. Yeah, you can if you want. But yeah, I'm angling more the Swissy. We've been waiting for say Farney, but I think we're starting to expect some upside on it. I think just if you want to straddle trade, you can. But going into tomorrow onwards, I'm looking to buy the Swiss franc, but we shall see. Okay. Okay, Samuel, the micro count is only for the Dow and the NAS. It's a different contract size. I'm going to go the normal Dow. This is the normal Dow, right? Hope you got that GBP CAD. Like I said, it's not looking pretty. I think it's going to get worse. Right, you left click, remember, check your specification. You've got to understand the masses. If you don't understand the masses, get yourself a maths course. You've got to understand this. It's basic stuff. Very important. The contract size is 10. Now, if you look at the micro, only the Dow Jones and the NAS do the micro, the contract size is 1. So 0.01 on this one here is 10 times the size of 0.01 on this one. So I'll give an example. Let's do a position size calculator up here. Okay, let's say you wanted to sell it. We're going to put the stop up here somewhere. Let's put it to 34,400. And where can we put the TP down? And where should we? 33,500. Okay. So clearly your risk, whatever. It's 65 bucks per 0.01. That's the micro. If you went on the normal one, it'd clearly be 10 times that. It'd be 650 around a micro. That's the problem, is we were having too many clients didn't understand the basic maths of it. The trader that actually not understanding this and going with 1, 2, 3 grand accounts, going and trading the NAS and the Dow on the normal one, and they didn't realize they were overexposed. Hence, we brought in the micros so people of all account size can now trade it. That's it's nothing to do with the 0.01 or the micro 0.0 Forex. It's just called a micro account compared to normal. Can't be a better way. If you can think of a better name for it, probably be better. But that's why it's called a micro. It's just because the contract size is smaller. Always check your specifications, guys. For instance, look at this one here. That's all Forex is 100,000 times the base currency. So it says 100,000. That's the contract size in euros. If it was the pound euro, whatever, or sorry, the pound dollar, it'd be 100,000 pounds. If it's a US dollar Swiss franc, it'd be $100,000 contract. Now, that's why if you're going to go for shares, look at the specification. It's one contract size. So you don't go 0.01 on a forward, well, you can if you like, but you're totally, completely wasting your time. Hits the TP, it's a down payment of box of matches because it's microscopically small. But it's obviously a lot larger on the Forex. That's why 0.05 on the euro dollar is a reasonable position. 0.05 on a $12 or 14, whatever it is, dollar share is absolute micro peanuts. That's why you've got to understand these sort of basics. Okay. And that's why it's good you ask these kind of questions, because it means you get a better idea. That's why it's important, like Sam's down there, to ask this, because they'll go in 0.04 on the Euro USD, and then they'll do the same on the F-stop forward, and they'll say, why is the profit loss not moving? Because it's so tiny, it has to, the price of forward's got to move a heck of a lot to affect your profit loss, because you're in such a minuscule position. Check the contract size and understand what it means, and that makes it clearer. Hope we all got that. Very important. And a lot of guys who don't trade the trading room aren't furnished with these facts, and they don't understand it. They get margin called. They insist on a high leverage account because they haven't got much money, so they can get into 2 or 3 trades without understanding increasing leverage. There's nothing to do with it. You're just going to overexpose. So I'll tell you the best way to explain that. Let's say you want to buy a £500,000 car and you want to increase the leverage, means you want to reduce the deposit. So let's say you have a 500 to 1 leverage and a £500,000 car. Divide 500 to 500,000 gives you 1,000, doesn't it? Oh, hang on, I've got 2 grand. I think I'll buy myself 2 cars. The problem is the payments and everything else is going to act against you. I'm trying to explain that sometimes they're not getting it, and this is the problem. And that's why, and then they kick up and scream because they've been margin called. That's what the calculator's for. If you're a 500 to 1, or 100 to 1, or 50 to 1, or 2,000, it's irrelevant. If you want to risk 300 rand, that is what you, that's the volumes you take to that. So you're okay now. And there's companies, I'm not sure it's legal now anymore in Europe or America, but I know there's companies that do 2,000 to 1 leverage. And I think that's just not playing the game, because a lot of guys don't understand that. And they go in, and because they can, they overexpose. Give you an idea what 2,000 to 1 leverage is. You want to buy £1 million house, divide that by 2,000. It's like putting down, I don't know, what, 500 rand, is that right? 1,000,000, 100,000, 10,000. Yes, putting down 500 rand to control £1 million house. But the £1 million house just got to go slight hiccup in the wrong direction for you to be margin called. And it's not right, Mike. That's why they're tightening up internationally on these regulations, because people are doing it without understanding it. And with the increase of the retail trade, unfortunately, increasing the unknowledgeable traders. They're getting caught in this, and it's coming back and biting. So forget the leverage. Make sure you can have free margin, and your calculator tells you what you're prepared to risk. So you're prepared to risk 1,000 rand. Make sure when you put the calculator in, it tells you what it is per micro. Divide that into 1,000 rand, will give you a position size. So you're not worried about leverage. You're not worried about your head, because you said to yourself, I'm prepared to risk that. If you can't risk it, you can't afford it, don't play around with the leverage. It still works. Very important. Hope we're all on the same plane here, because I tell you what, this lack of basic arithmetical understanding is fighting a lot for guys who can least afford to be bitten. Hope we're all understanding that. Okay, no problem. You want to look at my losing trades again? Is that what you're saying? Okay, right. So you want to go into gold and you got half a volume. That's 0.5. That's the same as 50 micros, 0.5. Remember, you understand that. But it's basically you've got to understand it. Okay, I want to close part of it. I think I'm going to close 25 micros. So I put in 0.25 in the volume, and then I click on the close button, and half of it will be closed, and banked. The other half will run. So that will change to 0.25, and that will change to what, 95 rand away. Okay. All good? Got it now, Sam? Anybody not got it? Okay, all great, good. And try not to stare at the damn thing all the time as well. Stop driving your head. Talking about that, what's our trades looking like that? God. Yeah. It looks like it's holding. So you're still in. I think the stop's down here somewhere. It might bounce, but it's not pretty. GBP AUD. A lot of guys in the trade room this morning might have been stopped out at break even. If you didn't adjust your stop loss, hopefully it'll bounce back up again. And we've got two others out, EUR and ZD at 76.76 the buy. It's doing nicely. Okay, if you're in this trade, it's doing nicely. We want to protect ourselves, so you can move your stop loss up to maybe, I don't know what price you got in, but if we had 76.76, I stared all day. Well, you can't help it. Yeah, you can't. It's a fixation, isn't it? I'll give you an example, Chris. When you're going to a casino and you haven't got money on the table, blackjack is incredibly boring. Once you put a couple of bucks on it, you can sit there around the clock in a fixated sense. You know what I mean? It's difficult not to, but try not to. It's up to you. Okay, so yeah, it's if you got it at 76.76, you can maybe put your stop at 76.80. It's 40 pips below the price of the well, that's ridiculous. It's 40 pips below. It's running quite nicely, and if you can run a bit further, you can start modifying your stop. Trying to get it close to 20 pips below the market price on the sell. Don't get it too close. But yeah, that's doing fine. 40 pips of profit. NZD CHF was a sell at 55.48. Nothing happening there. Yeah, that's 20 pips in profit. No, that's sorry. There's a sell, so you're getting out on the ask. So 48, that's only 15 on profit. A bit close to bring it down to break even. But if you can take, if the ask can take out 20, down to below 20, you can modify your stop just into a slight profit, just to protect yourself on both those trades. And if you're still in the GBP GAD, well, put your hands up together and start praying. I think the GBP AUD might recover, but the GBP CAD, I think, is not good. I mentioned this morning earlier on. That's why I did it straight away at 9:30, because it was worrying me. And it was nice in a profit one stage. That's why I say you got to modify and protect. All good? Understood, Gertrude. Good stuff. Mandla, good stuff, yeah. Okay, right. Anything else you want a bit of clarification on? We've got the trades out we want, so we can discuss a couple of things we're not sure of. And in research, you learned something there. So anything else? Yeah, man, I can't do anything about that, my friend. Like I said, it's not pretty, and I think it's a good chance of further downside. No, I'll wait till he's finished speaking. You could jump around. Depends on the questions and the answer he gives. And if he's quite hawkish, gold might come off. We don't know. And just if you're not, I think leave it alone. I shouldn't really go on him, but I did.
Lastly, Roger, your take on Euro JPY for a buy?
US 30 is the Dow, Chipper. Euro JPY. Yeah, we didn't look last week, I think, anyway. No, I'll tell you why I'm not keen before we get into fundamentals. Just on the technical, what is that range? That's quite a big range, bigger than I thought. So top of the range, for the last 4 trading days, it hasn't broken without the sellers coming in, so I wouldn't be buying it at this stage. Number 2, I'm more inclined to maybe sell it as a range trade, and I think there could be some Japanese yen. I think it's undervalued, some strength creeping in. As mentioned, they won't be increasing interest rates because the debt's too large to do it, so they're trying to export themselves out of trouble. But at the moment, it seems more of a range trade. And that is if you take a stop up here, maybe a 40 pip stop and take it down to here, maybe a 70, 80 pip TP. That's a range trade, even though it's in the buy zone, but otherwise leave it alone. You see on the 4 hour, it's been holding, and the 1 hour, it's not really had much sustaining. So I'm not sure it's going to break up. If you want to do a range trade, you do it. I'm not putting a calculator up. You know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, rather leave it. Don't get cute on range trading until you got the basic understanding of the normal kind of trading. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. But yeah, if you want to be highly aggressive, you've done this before for a few months, you've got an idea what we're on about there. I think there's a possibility of a range trade there, but otherwise leave it. But I'm not sure I'll be buying it. Anybody disagree? Anyone think this is going to break through? Thank you very much, Anna-Marie. Catch you tomorrow. Anyone think that's going to break through? And if you do, what reason? If you're not sure, leave it. Okay, Agnes. Now, I just want to... No, I don't either, man. If I had to do it, I'm not doing it, but I'd probably sell it. I just want to check, like Oben coming to the left, but he had a trade at AUD, CAD, didn't do too bad last time. Look, there's a sell at 89.89. If you went along with Obed and you did that trade, well bloody done, guys. I wasn't for it, as you know. Thought it might be a bounce, but it didn't occur. It's come off. You're in 40 pips profit. So I would suggest if you did do that one, make sure you modify to protect so you don't lose on it. And well done, those guys who came up with that one. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, any questions? Mandla, Agnes, Pietro, anybody there? Any questions before we wrap up? Anna, are you good? Any questions? Anyone not quite sure about it? I can explain it, obviously.
Sorry, Roger.
Roger. Yeah.
Yes. I normally see, like in this session, talking about the EJ strategy, and then I've been struggling to understand the EJ strategy. Can you maybe demonstrate just quickly as to
no problem
how to go about implementing that and how, what type of strategies?
It's purely a momentum, nothing else. It's purely momentum, and I don't use the I don't use the 100-day. I just use the brown and the blue. If it's below, I look to sell it. If it's between the two, I ignore it. If it's above the brown and the blue, I look as a buy. So I'm looking at the one we got on the AUD-CAD, right? It's below the 50 and the 200. So I'll be looking to sell it. Now to confirm the entry, I go from the daily to the hourly, and now I go to the 10-hour with the magenta line. Is it below? If it's above it, I ignore it. Below it, then I look to sell it. However, I'm just going to check the distance. It's 18 pips. It's a bit much. Put it this way, if the price was round about this level here, I would sell it. Without looking at anything else, I would sell it purely from a momentum basis.
Yeah.
Okay, make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be a sell, yes, on the EJ we mentioned, but my worry about joining it now, I'm not saying you can't, it is about 18 pips away from that. I prefer to get a little bit higher. Let's say you ask that question right now and the price, let's go back an hour in time, was right about there. This is only, what, 6-7 pips below. That would have been a sell. Try another one, example. AUD USD, right? Go to the daily. Is it above the brown, the blue? Clearly, yes. You're going to buy it. Never mind with AUD or the Swiss franc, doesn't matter. You're going to be buying it. Then you go to the hourly, but you can't buy it because it's below the 10-day moving average. So you ignore it. So try another one. Try the CAD CHF. Right. It's in between the brown and the blue. Ignore it. It's coming off nicely now, eh? Bloody time, eh? Try something else. CAD JPY. Where's the brown? Down here. Where's the brown? Oh, sorry. Okay, it's clearly in the buy zone. Let's look at the hour. Is it anywhere is it above the red, and how close is it to the red to buy it? Well, it's clearly above the red, so we can buy it. How far is the price away? 10 pips, you could look to buying that one. On the EJ, that would be a buy.
Okay, Roger. Thanks, Roger.
Okay, now before we just say buy glibly, you'd use a 50 pip stop, right? You wouldn't worry about a TP. You'd be risking, I think it's 90 rand per 0.01 for your risk. And all you do is you put a trading stop or you modify your stop until you eventually stopped out. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Pleasure. That's what it's for. Yeah. Great. Thanks for the question.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Just lastly, anything on oil? Brent?
Yeah, we didn't mention this trading for a reason. If you're in it, hold. If you're not in it, leave. The interest rate in China, they had a couple of reduction in interest rate, but it was only 0.1%, which, you know, it's an interest rate, but normally it's 0.25 upwards, only 0.1. They're still having, say it's a big problem. It's probably a little bit unfair. Just haven't quite got the growth lately and had a bit of a pullback in the Chinese economy. And so as a result, they're not importing as much oil as they were. Okay, so that's the reason why Brent hadn't had a sustained move up despite the decrease in production coming about sometime in July via the Saudis. So bottom line is, if you should have been stopped out, the modified stop, if you haven't, and you're still in the trade, you're in profit, I suggest modify your stop to break even, if not slightly better, to protect yourself, and then let it run to either stopped out or it hits your TP. Joining it now, I wouldn't be doing that. Hope that's clear. There's a good question. So before you go,
sir.
Fantastic, Farney. There you go. Just throw the question out there, guys. There, read it and see how you did before we close off. Quite a good question, that. My 2 cents as well, Brian. I agree. Anyway, yeah. Pietro, you just asked a question. Anyone done a straddle trade for fundamentals? There you are. Anyone got the courage to admit they did? I haven't got time to explain a straddle trade like that. I just wondering anybody else has done it. Just a quick question before we close off.
Yes, Peter, I got success, but not consistently. Some good, some bad, and like this morning, it was not good. So, but practice make perfect, I assure you.
Yeah.
Great stuff, Finally, I was successful with that one this morning. So I'm just wanting to know which fundamentals were you successful on in general. I'm just like trying to get a bit of a feel which ones I should try out and which ones I should leave alone, because like I don't want to be stuck in a process where I've trapped the price between a buy and a sell. Now I don't know which one to close off. You understand?
Well, you close one that's not being filled. Simple as that.
Yeah, because as soon as you put in the same distance, say 15 pips on either side of your existing buy sell, then the one that is not filled, I close immediately. My best success that I had was basically on the CPI as of America, as well as the non-farm payrolls. This one on Britain, I just tested to see how it's working. What the effect will be. I think it would have been better if, for example, I use the pound versus the yen. There was more movement on that one, but if you go through, you'll see most of the pounds moved, but they fall back quite quickly.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier on, guys, because I don't think it's sustainable.
Thanks,
I think
Fani.
it's overcooked.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam says, what's the straddle trade? Remind me tomorrow morning, I'll go over it quickly. I haven't got time now. It's not very complicated, but it takes more than 5 minutes to explain it, okay? But we do it as trading session on the Zoom on CPI and non-farm days at 2 o'clock. So it won't be this month, the next month. The first Friday next month, we'll do a non-farm 2 o'clock session on straddle trade, and the following week, it's the following week, CPI. So we'll do one. But if you're not sure of straddle trade, what I'm talking about, just remind me. I'll quickly explain it again tomorrow. Okay, guys, thanks very much, and yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow and the rest of the day. Okay, go well. Ciao, ciao.
Yeah. Cheers, Roger.
Cheers now. Cheers, mate. Cheers, mother.